your latest album, Scaled and Icy, right? Which you just announced is coming out next month. Can you tell me how it's different from Trench? Because, you know, that was very, like, Trench was such a conceptual album. Is it going to be the same for Scaled and Icy?
Utilizing the idea of and kind of embracing the fact that the people really like to dive in and kind of go deeper with the songs and the lyrics and enjoy sort of a narrative throughout. And you know, we have kind of a narrative that's gone on for the past few albums and continues to go on through this one. It looks a little bit different, and I think some of that will be uncovered with time. But you know, I think we've also been pretty intentional about trying to, you know, kind of have this narrative going throughout the album, but through all the albums, but definitely making it so that you know, you can turn on the radio and hear a song and enjoy it and not feel lost or feel confused. And so that's also another fun thing in putting it together is trying not to get so lost in it that the music just becomes unenjoyable. Right. So there is a little bit of it. I would say that the feel of this album is a little bit more straightforward than Trench, our last album, but there's definitely still some narrative within.
You guys earned a Grammy with Jumpsuit, which is from Trench, right? So are you guys gunning for another Best Rock Song Award with Shy Away or any of your songs from Scaled and Icy?
Well, we didn't win a Grammy, at least to my knowledge. But I don't know. You know, I think we have won a Grammy before, and it's really cool. You know, that's a really cool thing. I do feel proud of that. But I do think back to when we were in the studio working on that song. We were in the midst of an entire record, and that was kind of for us. That was another song on the record. We finished it. Oh. We didn't look at each other and be like, that's gonna be a hit. That's gonna win a Grammy. But you know, but it's cool that happened. But all that to say, I think when we're working on music, working on you know, a song at a time, it kind of really is. It's about kind of you know, trying to kind of like balance this. Well, what do our fans want to hear? Also, what do we want to hear? What do we want to write? When we kind of get to a point where we release a song or we release an album and people are excited about it and people show up to our concerts, that then to me and to us, me and Tyler, is our sort of indicator of success. When we win any form of award, I think that's also kind of, it feels like a cherry on top, right, in a way. But I don't think that ever since the beginning of our career or even our love for music have we measured success by awards.
Of course.
But not to downplay it, it's still really cool. I get way more excited when I walk out on stage and I see people in the room and excited to, you know, be part of a concert with us.
But did you have that kind of moment with any of the tracks? And I'm sure you did with all the tracks, but was there one particular track that really stood out for you? Like, do you have a favorite one from Scaled and Icy?
I mean, Shy Away is one of my favorite songs on the album. But you know, I go off of the way that the song makes me feel when I listen to it and when I play it on the drums. And another song called Saturday, I feel like, you know, sometimes you just listen to a song and do kind of think like, wow, this is a great song. I hope that it, you know, it goes far, it does, you know, it does well.
What's your current favorite TV show right now?
My wife and I have been watching an older show called Criminal Minds.
I know that.
My wife actually just started watching it while I was like playing drums one night, and I started watching it. I'm like, what are you watching? She's like, it's this creepy show. And so now, you know, whenever we watch TV in the evening, we're just like, creepy show. And so that's just what we call it.
I like it.
But yeah, that's one, you know, we try to choose a show that just has tons of seasons and tons of episodes that we can just watch, like, you know, 3 or 4 in an evening or something. And so
Hi Josh, how's your day today? And what's a normal day feels like for Joshua Dunn? And how does a good day feels to Joshua?
Sigh is propaganda because we found the sentence behind the Christmas Save the Year.
You know, there's some stuff to dig into on this album. Our first band practice that day.
And I thought the title was so unique and so different. So can you tell us the story behind Scaled and Icy?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think coming up with a album title is it's an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can be kind of tough sometimes, and then, you know, and you kind of land on something that you enjoy, and then you kind of have to live with that for a little bit, and then it just becomes normal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think just like any art, it can be interpreted any way you want, and I think that's what's really cool about art. But I think that when you know, the process of kind of writing and recording this album, and you really, the kind of the state of the world, everything that we kind of see and witness is scaled back and isolated. And so that's kind of yeah, in a way, that's kind of what that you know, that album is, you know, kind of short for. Scaled back and isolated, and even down to the process of recording. You know, Tyler kind of recorded stuff in his basement, and I recorded stuff at my home studio, and we were just all alone working on that stuff. So yeah, that's you know, and there are layers and levels to the meaning of the album title, but yeah, it's, you know, we're isolated right now, just having a meeting over the internet, and I can see your dog walking around where I normally, you know, I wouldn't in a traditional interview. So I like
very
that.
very personal space right now. But I mean, I love it too. I mean, if it weren't for the internet, we wouldn't be able to talk, right? But scaled back and isolated was not my first guess. So I love that was the story behind it. And that makes us so excited for the album. So what can we expect coming from this new album from you guys?
Was just a little bit more colorful, a little kind of brighter sounding songs. And not to say that every song is just bright and colorful, but felt like we needed some of that during this time. And so I think you know, we've released the song Shy Away, and that one is a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more colorful, and probably the most upbeat song on the album, but still kind of fits in with, you know, I think it fits in nicely with the rest of the songs.
Is there something that stood out to you specifically that you guys tried that was new for the new album?
I would say there's a song called Mulberry Street that feels pretty different stylistically. Maybe feels a little bit older style. I don't even know what it would date back to. Maybe you know, maybe like the 60s or something like that. And same with a song called Good Day. They're both kind of sort of vintage sounding songs in a way, I guess I would say. And yeah, and those are a couple that I feel like are just areas that we haven't really ever fully explored, and I was excited to, and I'm excited about those songs.
What can we expect coming from the live stream? I can imagine there are a lot of preparations that went into it.
One thing I say is that you know, the virtual or live concert thing has always been sort of tough. The idea of it for Tyler and I, because essentially we're losing a very important band member, which is the audience. We've always really relied on a crowd and our fans to really be part of the show. And when you take that away, you realize how big of a part they played, you know, the whole time. And so the first thing we needed to wrap our mind around was, how do we accomplish this without that important band member? And so we instantly had to start kind of shifting things and getting creative and trying to figure out ways for this thing to, you know, to not be stale after like 2 or 3 songs. And So we put some things together to hopefully hopefully keep people's attention and and be exciting and visually captivating, and I'm really excited for it. And I never like to hype it up too much because I don't want people's expectations to be higher than what it actually is. So we'll just say that it'll be all right. And if it's anything better than that, then then people will be happy. So
I wanted to say thank you because I'm pretty sure that you guys were the first to release new music specifically from the pandemic with Level of Concern
really?
last year. I think so. I mean, I'm sure I could Google it. If you're not the first, I'm crediting you as the first because I do feel like Level of Concern was sort of like a new era of music, really.
that's awesome. Well, we'll state that as a fact.
Yeah, let's put it on the Wikipedia page right away.
Yeah.
So the new single "Shy Away" is out and already seeing some massive success, which must feel awesome. Like having been cooped up for a while and getting to see new work being so well received.
Yeah, it's I think really anytime, and I'm realizing it kind of gets worse and worse every time that we go away for a little bit and kind of like work on writing and recording an album. It just feels like it feels like it's 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, going from kind of one extreme to the other, which is being on stage every night, and being able to perform songs, being out there and just having something going on to absolutely nothing. And so it's I think we both get we get a little bit anxious sometimes in between tour cycles, where it's like, are people forgetting about our band? Do people care? And I don't know if that feeling's ever going to go away. And so, but I always, whenever we were able to release our first song after that, I think we're both kind of just, we can finally exhale and just be like, oh, okay, cool. We're doing something now, at least publicly.
Yeah.
And so it does feel really good. It feels refreshing.
What were some of the biggest challenges having to record sort of in two separate studios versus when you get to collaborate in the same room together?
I think just kind of having to retroactively kind of go back and get on Zoom, and kind of like we would kind of just show each other what we had done, rather than just kind of working on things together. Which I think, that was the biggest challenge, but I think that it really wasn't too bad. It was kind of it was kind of nice to switch it up a little bit, and with technology, it made it much more kind of manageable and workable. And I can't imagine if we had to do this 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Just because I don't, the technology is not wouldn't be quite there. I didn't even know what Zoom was until a year ago.
I think so many of us feel the same way. We're like, Zoom? What's that? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would say that was the biggest challenge, but I think that, I think we're used to just kind of doing things from a distance a lot, and kind of just constantly checking up on the phone or a FaceTime or whatever.
That's good. Now, I know you were mentioning that it kind of felt like it was less pressure getting to sort of record the drums in your own studio. Is that something that you think maybe even after things are kind of back to normal, or maybe you'll have those same freedoms you used to have to record together? Do you think you'll still adopt using your home studio more? Like, is that something you loved enough that you guys might change forever moving forward?
I think I would like to, but even throughout this process, there were moments, we kind of took it song by song, and it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to record drums for this song. I don't know if it feels like, I want to stay open-minded. If this song feels like we're not getting exactly what we need from the drums in this studio, then at any moment we can have, another studio on standby.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, I have always kind of just been like, well, whatever's best for the song and for what these drums really need to sound like, then that's what we'll do. Fortunately, all the drums that we recorded there just kind of worked out great, and we were really pleased with how it turned out. I think in an ideal world, it would remain that way. Just kind of working from our houses. Like I said, the technology and just all around is getting better and better all the time, which means that, you know, people have the capability to work from home and record from, you know, a home studio. So I like it, and I would like to continue doing it. But
what's that experience going to be like?
Well, I think it'll be a mixture of both of those things. It won't necessarily be in sequence, but there will be songs from the new album, songs from older albums as well. And it'll, I think, be an experience that we've tried to put together, realizing that we're essentially missing a band member, which is, you know, the people who come to the show. And so that's, you know, I think at the beginning of this pandemic, when people were starting to do live streams, that was something that for us, we just felt like we rely on them so much for so many different things, and even parts of the show, it just would all fall apart without them. And I think at first we were kind of wondering if that was ever going to be something that we would even entertain. And as we started to kind of like think about it and talk about it and start to get in creative mode, realizing that we can change it and change the format of it, but it's going to look pretty different.
What song right now in this moment are you most excited to perform live again when you finally get to like have that third band member back?
I think maybe the song Saturday from our new album.
Yeah.
Shy Way just came out not too long ago. Can you share the writing process about this track? Like, how did you guys come about to write this one?
The technical kind of like process, like I would have like a little stand, put my phone on here. I'd have Tyler on FaceTime. And then we would Zoom, kind of screen share each other's screens and kind of just have conversations about the song. And then I would just record drums at my studio at my house. And we really were just, you know, it was him alone in a room working and me alone in my room working. And it actually was a lot of fun doing it.
But you guys are at 2 billion. How do you feel about that?
I can't really believe it. And I've been on the kind of the viewing end of it, and I learned how to play drums on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I literally would just watch performances of my favorite drummers and then kind of learn how to play from that. Understanding the power of that, you know, that website and the reach, it kind of makes it even more kind of special and important for me, and realizing that that many people have been involved and kind of being a part of this, you know, this band in one way or another, fans of this band, you know, the power that they hold is pretty special.